to the AME Food Safety Show. That singer was singing about the rainbow. To me, that represents the prism and the effect of white light and how it breaks it up into different nanometer meters. Here's what I'd like to explain. The next topic, this topic, diabetes, just like the rainbow, affects everyone. Whatever your skin hue, racial background, or your dietary habits. What are we talking about diabetes? What is it? It affects everyone. Let me ask you a question as you look at this slide. Look at the person on the right-hand side and their foot. Look at that horrible situation that they've earned. Look at the person in the middle. Are they related? Oh, no, Andy. That's an infection. Can't you tell? Really? Look at the children on the left-hand side. If you see your children in the same or similar situation being obese, yes, they're children, and yes, they should be judged as obese if they're not fit. And they have spread before them intoxicating video media with hypnotizing sound and images. And they're slovenly sitting around waiting for those messages to come in, eager to receive the propaganda of the state. What does that mean? That means that they're being programmed to consume food, which, guess what, makes them fat, and guess what, enhances their potential for diabetes. It's a group of metabolic diseases in which the person has high blood glucose or blood sugar. You know, there are a lot of systems to test for blood sugar at every pharmaceutical outlet or drugstore. Insulin production. You've heard all these words, but they're probably confusing to you if you're not already injecting. Their production is inadequate because the body's cells do not respond properly to insulin or both. So it either works or it doesn't work, and the main reason is high fructose corn syrup or other fatty or starchy food products or ingestion. Frequent urination, polyuria, is also related. They become increasingly thirsty and hungry. So they're consuming these products. If you or your children look like those people on the left or the middle or the right, you have problems. It's not a joke. It's not looking over the rainbow. Those body parts may have to be amputated. I visited many, many hospitals. One time I was waiting to see a pathologist, and there was a man sitting in a chair who had already had 1 foot removed. He was formerly the center for the Green Bay Packers. He knew famous people. He played in famous games. He was a Super Bowl champion, but he was missing one leg. And I said, hey, buddy, what are you here for? He says, they're going to take off my other leg and then maybe an arm or two. And I said, wow, what happened? He said that he had diabetes. Think about that story as we weave through these slides. Next slide, please. What are the symptoms of diabetes? Now, this particular slide is indicative of many types of symptoms. You need a professional, medical, assigned to you, expert, to define which category you fit in. But let's look at the general category. Could be in your brain, your eyes, your breath, weight loss or weight gain, respiratory, gastric, or urinary. All of those areas are affected by this high fructose corn syrup induced medical condition. Next slide. Some of these people say, Andy, you know what? Diabetes is not increasing. You're crazy. And then I said, okay, let's think about it for a second. As we've had cases further reported among adults in New York, this is a fascinating study, by the way. The link is down below. Let's look at that physical shape, that pear shape of the human body. Is that normal? Were we born that way? Oh, Andy, we come from a big bone family. Yes, we have diabetes. But let's look at your diet. Let's look at your habits as an individual. And we're saying in this study that adults in New York that have diabetes have increased 150% in the past 20 years. That's a dramatic event. That's a dramatic cycle. That's a dramatic consequence of food consumption. And you might say, oh no, Andy, it's in our family, it's genetic. Okay, let's look at how genetically you eat as well. Next slide. Here is one of the major foods, if you're even thinking about having some of those symptoms, you should probably avoid. I'm not giving you any medical advice, I'm talking about general categories. Candy. Candy, what is it? It's high fructose corn syrup in various flavors. You enjoy it for about 30 seconds, and then it's down your gullet and into your body to be starred. Candy in the middle, on the left, and guess what? Your favorite cake. I remember a lady named Mama Cass. She was a singer. And do you remember the little girl in All in the Family? If you see their later years, and I remember reading an interview about that young lady in All in the Family, she would eat cheesecakes whole as well as Mama Cass. So, in my opinion, anybody that's watching this show should look at eating those products in very small portions once in a while. That doesn't mean sitting down with a whole cheesecake and consuming it. Monitor your body symptoms. If you start having numbness in any parts of your body, a loss of feeling, or sleepiness, you eat a candy bar, 2 minutes later you're ready to take a nap and you're driving. That's not a good situation. Next slide. This may shock you. A lot of people are living on their own. They're living a fast-paced life, so they go to the grocery store and pile up on these boxes called frozen foods. Throw them in the microwave. Here's the challenge. A lot of these microwave products, these frozen products, if you will, have sodium and fat as their principal ingredients. What does that mean to me? Well, it's got 500 calories or less per serving, 3 grams of saturated fat, 600 grams of sodium or less per serving. Those are like guidelines. You can read the ads on the front. A lot of times we don't know what they mean. A frozen food that has fresh on it, to me, means nothing. It's not fresh. It's been frozen. It's been treated. Next slide. You've heard me discuss sugary drinks before. Oh, no, Andy, it doesn't have any sugar. It's sugar-free. Right. We've talked about the chemicals that go into these sugar-free products. They go through your mouth for about 5 seconds, and then they store in your body forever. Here's the deal. Avoid regular soda, fruit punch, fruit drinks, energy drinks, and sweet tea. Why? The sugar. You want to lose your leg? Here's the deal. Every time you see that fountain selection, there should be filtered water as well. The ice should have been used with filtered water. We've talked about bacterial contamination, but today's about the sugar. Make the choice. I cannot force you. I cannot compel you. I can't cajole you, but think about your own decision-making process when you see those pop drinks. High calories will raise your blood sugar, the blood glucose. A 12-ounce can has 150 grams of calories, 40 grams of carbohydrates. And think of fruit punch, fruit drinks. It's sugar and water. Take the water. Pure, clean water will help you clean out all of the horrible things out of your body. There have been some studies. You can argue with me that a highly acidic body is a cancerous body. I don't know. I think it's interesting, but personally I love a glass, a container of fresh water. Next slide. Andy, I always have a shake with my fries. It just helps me through the day. Well, you're looking at sugar and water. How's that? It contains trans fats, horrible for your heart, 16-ounce chocolate milkshake at A&W has 700 calories. Is that what you need? Are you heading toward having your body destroyed or heading toward being healthier? You decide. I'm not here to mandate or, as the new vernacular says in the Obama administration, to ban. We need to ban it. I'm here to ask you to make wise decisions. Next slide. Here are my suggestions, whether you're already a monster or you're normal. Here are my suggestions. High-quality carbohydrates. I had an apple on the way over. I'm not saying it perfect. Tastes delicious. I didn't have to worry about it. Berries. I buy berries for my wife. Pears. I love those if they're ripe. Grapes. I'm from the Central Valley. We grow a lot of grapes here. Most of it goes to wine, believe it or not. My grandpa being a wino, he was a great consumer of that product. And oranges. Oranges are primarily from Texas and Florida, which are horrible, or the navel orange here in California. Awesome. And everybody's familiar with the new type of mandarin orange, the cuties. Those are my clients. They're beautiful. I get 2 out of the refrigerator, got to start watching TV, I go up and get 4 more. Here's the deal. You have alternatives. Nobody's forcing you to eat those high fructose, high corn syrup, high fat items. You are choosing, not me. You're not going to call me up and say, Andy, should I eat this burger? It's got jalapenos. No. You decide. Here's the deal. Avoid high fat high saturated fat. You might say, Andy, I love those fries from McDonald's. I don't know why. Here's the reason. They're soaked in grease. What's grease? Oh, no, it's Andy, it's peanut oil. Or Andy, no, it's some other kind of oil. It's still soaked in it. Hot, fat grease, oil, whatever you want to call it. You're soaking it, and I'm going to say this, you might store that in your body forever. Some people say, oh no, Andy, I have a high metabolism. I do decathlons, and I run and I swim. And okay, great. Let's go check your high blood pressure. Let's go check your glucose level. Then we'll talk. That gives you a defined, what they call a quantitative number. Also, I'll take a look at you qualitatively. Are you fat? No, Andy, I'm healthy. We're just a big bone family. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is giving you good advice for which you can rely on. I hand you an apple, you eat it, I feel good about it. You feel good about it. You might not like it because you're so hooked on McDonald's GMO food. That's your challenge. I'd like to leave you with this challenge. Eat like a normal human being. Don't be a monster. Don't create monsters in your children. Have you recently driven by an elementary school? A lot of those children are monsters, they're giants. We don't want to have a generation of diabetics always running to the pharmacy, always running to a doctor. That's my closing remarks. Look forward to the next segment. Thank you very much.